Who?
I'm the guy who hated you. Hated you! Died from my hatred of you!
Good old Grimy.
To the point we are evil geniuses who somehow lost every battle we've had with Homer Simpson.
What?
So we decided to form this Furious Four.
Bob, seriously, man, one suggestion? Shut up. I mean, the baby is already asleep.
Oh.
Worst episode ever.
Hey everybody, welcome to Worst Episode Ever, a podcast for people who love The Simpsons, by people who love The Simpsons, about how much we hate The Simpsons. We're here trying to find which is the worst episode ever. And as always, my name is Dan. That was who are you, sir?
I'm sorry. I have my robotic Richard Simmons costume on.
It's true, you did.
My name's Jack.
I didn't know it was you, Jack.
Yeah,
I was very
I'm sorry.
scared.
Surprise!
I thought you were going to reform after I shot you in the face.
I'm wearing my award-winning Halloween costume.
It was. Jack did win our costume contest at Simpsons Trivia this past week, so congrats to Jack.
Why am I wearing a costume?
You're wearing a costume because if you haven't checked that old calendar in a little while, you may not know that it is Octoween #2 here in Wii Studios. That's right. It is Halloween time.
Octoween dos.
Octoween doubly dose.
What's the Latin or Spanish for 16?
The SS is
Or
Spanish.
would it be 64? Would it be 8 squared?
64 is too much for me to think of right now. I should know it. And 64. So here we are. It's Octoween, which means we must have just watched, or we must be doing a Treehouse of Horror episode, Jack. Is
Not
that
just
accurate?
any Treehouse of Horror.
Oh.
We're doing Treehouse of Horror 27.
You're right. In
which
fact,
literally just aired 9 minutes ago.
and you know what? It's a big milestone episode, guys, because this is our 88th episode. It's a huge milestone that we made it finally to 88.
We did it.
Double dig.
All the doubters.
Nice palindromic number.
That whole movement called only 87 episodes a week.
They failed,
we
and
beat them.
we're all happy for that. And also, apparently, it was the 600th episode of The Simpsons tonight.
They
made a few references to it. You may have seen them.
600 is not really a milestone number. It's not like 88.
Yeah, it's not as big as 88, obviously.
Yeah,
it's like
there's
at least 5 times more than 88.
There's no Yakuza sub-clan in Kill Bill Volume 1 called the Crazy 600.
There should have been, though. So we just watched Treehouse of Horror, episode 600 of The Simpsons, originally aired today, which, if you're watching this on our Periscope, it is October, what is today, 16th? October 16th.
That's 8 times 2. It's the Sisquanda.
So if you took the 88 of our episode and...
don't you already...
Sorry, I can't. We're getting comments from listeners, and they're
What's it
making me
say?
laugh. That was someone saying, "Have you ever considered an Outsiders Outpost segment?" And that was from friend of the show, Alex Placencia.
Oh, he wants to do the.
Yeah, he wants to be on the show as someone who can talk about it. So anyway,
no,
we haven't considered it, and
Simpsons fans only.
Yeah, so episode Treehouse of Horror 27 is what we're doing tonight, and we already watched it because it literally just aired.
No intro this week.
Normally we would take a break and say, "Oh, go watch the episode on Simpsons World." So if you're listening to this as a podcast and you haven't watched it, yes, you should go to simpsonsworld.com or wherever you're viewing episodes and go check that out. But I'm assuming that most people have seen it already because it just aired.
Yeah,
I don't know if you people actually still. I don't know.
I mean, statistically, this is the least likely amount of people we're going to get who've seen it because it.
That's
literally,
true.
It hasn't even aired to the whole
country. When this podcast
yet.
comes out, there are only 5 days.
The only way we could have done worse is if we had recorded this an hour ago before the episode even aired.
Which we thought about doing, and we were like, it might get confusing for people after the fact and a few years from now when they're downloading the episode. So we didn't do that. So we're not going to take a break to watch the episode. We already did that. So Jack, do we want to do a recap of this episode? It's kind of tough because it's a Treehouse episode.
Do what we
you
do
want to
with
jump right into it?
With our typical, pizza's here.
Somebody's pizza's just
My
arrived
girlfriend
at Wii
literally,
Studios.
She goes, "Can I order pizza?" And we looked at the clock. We said, "All right, there should be enough time to order this pizza." And then she waited another 45 minutes to call for the pizza. If you hear a door opening in the background and a guy going, "Pizza! Pizza man here!"
Hey, the pizza man's here! Jackie boy, I didn't realize this was your apartment!
That's my dad. My dad's a pizza delivery guy.
I'm doing a pizza for Jackie. That's my side gig. Making millions of dollars.
That pizza man is going to be really confused.
Yes, he is.
I really wish we weren't in his eye line.
Pizza man's going to come in and say, "Why are 2 grown men recording some sort of radio show in front of a television?"
Say, "Why are 2 grown men talking about The Simpsons on the internet?"
Oh, yeah. All right, guys. You want to just jump right into it, Jack, and start with the very first segment?
Yeah, so we've got, like most modern Treehouse of Horrors, we have 3 segments and one lengthy intro. In this case, actually, there's 2 intros, which I think the last one we covered. Before the couch gag, there is a 600th episode intro.
Right, and it started off with the family was going Christmas tree shopping, and there was a joke like, why are we doing it on Halloween? It's Halloween, why are we going Christmas tree shopping? And I think Homer was like, oh, we got to get ahead of the curve. And then he showed
This is America, we do everything early.
Right, exactly. And then he showed that he had an Ivanka 2028 button, I think it was what it was.
It's topical.
Yeah. Oh, wait, Ivanka Trump.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Now it makes sense.
Yeah.
I thought it was just a crazy nonsense word.
Yeah.
That's running for president.
Well, is Ivanka a real name, or did they just take her mother's name
Ivanka's a real name.
and threw a K in there?
Just like Will and Jada Pinkett Smith.
Are you going to name your kid Danka?
Yep.
Danka Mahal.
I'm going to name my kid Danka, German for thank you.
I guess I'll do Jack. Just Jakc.
Perfect.
CK.
Absolutely.
Man, that pizza's taking its time, huh, Missy?
Pizza is taking its time.
Did he go to the wrong apartment? Maybe he was like, this must
to-
be the apartment, and then he heard two guys yelling about the Simpsons. Oh, this doesn't sound like a pizza household.
We'll cut this out from when we do the actual podcast
Will we?
episode. I don't know. It's up to you. You're the one who shows it. But anyway, so we have a thing where all of a sudden the Simpsons enemies from across the years appear and come to take out their revenge on the Simpsons.
Starting, of course, with Sideshow Bob.
Yeah, Sideshow Bob's number 1, and they did get Kelsey Grammer, obviously. I mean, if you're going to bring in Kelsey Grammer...
Downstairs. That's the downstairs buzzer. All right.
They got Kelsey Grammer to come back. If you're going to do Sideshow Bob, you kind of have to have Kelsey Grammer. And he killed it, pun intended. He didn't kill anyone. He actually got killed himself.
So not much of a pun.
So a pretty crappy pun, but that's par for the course for this show. Sideshow Bob, you had one of the aliens, Kang or Kodos. I don't know which one.
Is this the first out of 27 Treehouse of Horrors to only have one?
It might be.
Rigelian?
That's a good point. And then they brought back the ghost of Frank Grimes. Now, this was heavily, heavily hyped.
Yeah,
they were saying, like, oh, we're bringing Frank Grimes back for episode 600, and I'm Jack Dad, and I produced the show.
First time since he died in season 8, right? Maybe he's popped up once or twice in some other gags.
I mean,
his tombstone has.
We've done, in the past, we did the episode where his son comes back, which was actually an episode with Sideshow Bob in it.
Yeah.
The Great Louse Detective from season 14.
Not a great episode.
Not a great episode, but... I don't think they certainly hadn't brought him back because that was, he's dead. So the only way you could bring him back is as a ghost. And so they hyped it up a lot.
Or flashback.
We're bringing Frank Grimes back. This is a big thing we're doing for episode
or maybe
600.
he recorded a video like Jamie Kennedy in Scream 3.
Sure. I never saw Scream 3. I actually didn't
Jamie
know they did
Kennedy recorded a video so he could have a scene in the movie.
I saw 1, 2, and 1 right
He's
before.
like, just in case I get killed in Scream 2, here are the rules for if there's a third killer. It follows the rules of the murder trilogy.
That's actually kind of funny. I kind of like
that.
Yeah,
it was all right. It's a good movie. You should see Scream 3. It's not bad.
Maybe I will. I saw Scream 4, and it was bad.
Oh, I like Scream 4.
Yeah, it was all right. But anyway.
It's probably my least favorite of the Screams.
Anyway, that's not the point. The point is Frank Grimes.
This isn't Screamcast?
It can be. Oh, yeah. We're here talking about Edward Munch's painting The Scream.
Oh, man. It's an audio podcast only of us recreating.
Talking about. Yep, absolutely.
Yeah, we'll save that for podcast of terror.
Yeah, that's a good move. So yeah, they brought Frank Grimes back. Were you as underwhelmed as I was, Jack?
Yeah, I think I've seen a couple of comments already. I'm trying not to read them.
Read
all your comments because I have ADD and I'm drunk.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it was. I think the general consensus was that it didn't live up to the hype.
I like the general consensus that we've gotten, in the 25 minutes since the episode aired, just from our Periscope users. Yeah, I don't. Here's the thing. What are you going to do with Frank Grimes? Like, hype it up that we're bringing Frank Grimes back. What are we expecting, I guess?
Well, actually, I want to put a pin on that. Or we can... All right, we'll talk about it now, and then I want to jump back on some other things.
All right.
I actually think this was a perfect use of Grimes. Not for the Treehouse of Horror element, although it works because, again, you need him to be a ghost. Or a flashback, or a VHS video. I'll let Jamie Kennedy in Scream 3.
The Jamie Kennedy Scream 3 rule.
Yeah, not to be confused with the Jamie Kennedy Experiment.
No.
It's a different CW show.
Absolutely.
Are you just getting the pizza? Oh, there was a second delivery.
Okay.
It was also an Amazon delivery. That's the mystery of the two buzzers.
How many callers are you getting at 9 o'clock on Sunday night?
Someone
in
called for a 24-foot hoagie, extra swimming in vinegar. No, all right. So it works because it's Treehouse of Horror. So you have a Missy. Somebody says you make good logos,
And you do. Anyway,
Also, Purple Devil Head. I don't know what that one is.
I don't know what that one is either.
So you want to bring Grimes back. I think it's a perfect way to bring him back for the 600th milestone, which this was
Right.
this was doubling as a Treehouse of Horror and the 600th milestone in the beginning and the end.
Right.
Grimes is perfect for that because his whole shtick is, oh my God,
Simpsons
I can't
are terrible.
believe the Simpsons are terrible. Why
Right.
why does everybody like Homer? Why do they get away with so much
Right.
stuff?
The whole conceit was he was a
Right.
real person in
Right.
the Simpsons
So
world.
I like the idea. So they show, this is a really cool visual. They show a clip of all 600 episodes, one after another. They showed this like huge montage
Right, it was a
of
big
600
collage.
tiny screenshots from each episode.
Yeah.
And in the corner is Ghost Grimes going, "What's wrong with you people? This is terrible." And I really like the idea of Grimes Grimes yelling at America for embracing the Simpsons, be like, "What's the matter with you? You know,
Yeah.
this show is terrible. They're terrible. How could you embrace them for 600 episodes for 30
Sure.
years?" Except they didn't really do that. It was, I'm doing a lot of the work there.
Right.
And I
It
wish
was-
if they had just clarified that, I would have been way into this Grimes thing. And to double it as a Treehouse of Horror by making him a ghost, it could have worked perfectly.
I agree with you. I think it could have been better. And was anyone, Jack, real talk between you and me, were you a little bit disappointed that when Frank Grimes was talking about how is America still watching this, that there wasn't a reference to like a podcast that might be like kind of down?
I
on
wasn't
racist Simpsons?
expecting that, but I guess yes,
you know-
you're right. If I was rewriting the episode, I would have had Frank Grimes go, WePodcast.com, WEE podcast.com, shop on our Amazon
Absolutely.
affiliate.
Yeah,
I mean, they're us Amazon affiliate.
yeah, Simpsons.wepodcast.amazon.com.
Also, go Isles and Hollywood buy Jack spec scripts.
Absolutely.
That's if I was rewriting the script. That's what I would do.
Absolutely,
I think
yeah.
it's screenwriting 101. But I want to jump back. Unless
Okay.
you have something more to add about Grimes.
No, I was going to go back to the
villains.
Frightful Four.
So
of villains.
it's like the Sinister Six for Spider-Man. It's the
the Frightful Four was a Fantastic
actual-
Four
okay.
group.
All right,
Jack,
I lose.
I guess you didn't see the Fantastic Four movies with
Roger Corman's.
yeah, when they brought in the Frightful Four. So we had
We had
Sideshow Bob, we had Frank Grimes, we had one of the aliens,
Now
which, by the way, made this weird
Yeah.
screeching noise,
It went.
which we've never seen before.
And this whole point is supposed to be like, look how important we take our fans, and look at the continuity. We're bringing back all these classic
Sure.
favorites. How do you get Kang and Kodos wrong in a Treehouse of Horror?
Yeah, it was
You've
a little-
literally
it was a
done
little
them the
weird.
last 26 years
Literally
perfectly.
Every single Treehouse of
How
Horror
do you screw
episode
that
has
up?
had them. They've appeared in at least 27 episodes.
It's not like they don't have like an iconic Harry Shearer portrayal
Right,
or
and
Dan
Dan
Castellaneta.
Castellaneta.
Yeah, you can't. I do not understand the reasoning behind it. It's as if they hired somebody who had never watched The Simpsons, and they were like, "Oh yeah, we have this alien character. Make sure you write it into the script."
Right. Yeah, I don't know. But then
It's like when we have a guest on who says they're a really big Simpsons fan, they turn out to be like, oh, yeah, they've seen the show.
Right,
and,
right.
and we throw some like medium level trivia at them and it goes over their head.
Yeah.
I feel like that's who wrote this Kang and Kodos line.
Right. So yeah, I think so. And then there's a reveal of, oh, you said it was 4 people, but where's the other 4? And then who's the 4th? And then they pull down a tree, and it's the leprechaun.
Yeah,
Now-
so is that the fourth quintessential Simpsons arch nemesis?
Look, Sideshow Bob, classic Simpsons villain.
Yeah, I've
going
seen-
back
I've-
to season 1, the tons of episodes. Kelsey Grammer, very prestigious, very famous. Everybody knows Sideshow Bob.
Everybody
Frank Grimes,
loves Bob.
Frank Grimes, famous episode, and it was also very hyped that they were going to bring him back. Kang and Kodos, there since episode
Every Treehouse of
episode
Horror.
1, Treehouse of Horror,
Every Treehouse of Horror.
the Leprechaun.
What's that? What's going on there? First of all, he has an arch nemesis.
Right.
It's the orange Northern Irish
That's
leprechaun.
right, we did that episode.
from the St. Patrick's Day episode.
Yeah. Sex Pies and Idiot
If you're gonna, who would you put as? I have an answer. Who would you put as the 4th arch nemesis? Because obviously
that's a good
Leprechaun's
question.
wrong, right? That's just it's wrong.
Yeah,
There's a million choices better than.
Agreed. Totally agreed. Who would I put in? That's a good question.
All right, I'm going to throw a controversial post-classic character out. The
Okay.
Grumple from the Christmas episode we did.
No, I don't want the
At
Grumple in
least
there.
that's a theme.
Some-
At least that's a Hollywood character.
Someone
that,
on Periscope just suggested Dr. Demento, and that would have been amazing.
that would have been very obscure.
But that's Bart's arch nemesis, his second arch nemesis.
That would have been, yeah. But at least Grumple is another holiday theme.
I guess, and he's a monster, a literal monster.
Yeah,
also.
it's no different than the Leprechaun, except he actually had a rivalry with Homer for one
Sure.
episode. But
Yeah, the Leprechaun is just an angry leprechaun.
I don't know. It's anti-Irish, if anything.
I was a little bit offended as
As
an Irishman. Oh, my Jesus! I didn't care for the leprechaun. Happy Halloween, Tori of Faith and Begorra.
I was expecting some old Dracula fingers, but maybe
Well,
not.
maybe not today.
So yeah, then they do the 600th montage. Like I said,
well, Maggie decapitates all the villains, which was very gory.
I mean, she's the
but it was
murderer
fine.
of the family.
That's true. Well, attempted murderer usually, but
No, that's true. Yeah. Like I said, I like the 600th milestone. I think utilizing utilizing Grimes.
They should have had Grufik in there.
Yeah,
That's the nemesis.
Rather than saying, "Oh, if there was a podcast that we I would much rather than just animate Grufik and
Yeah,
just have
absolutely.
It's like happy 600 episodes. Don't forget to wear your helmets.
Wear your bike helmets.
That would be amazing. That would be the most obscure joke that The Simpsons could ever possibly do.
Hillary Clinton has all her enemies murdered. Check her Wall Street speeches.
Check the deleted emails. It's me, Toothpick, the rarely seen other character.
Still no Old Dracula Fingers.
No, I don't know where he
Where
is.
is he?
The bus must be running late because it's Halloween.
Oh man.
All right, so let's move on. That was kind of it for the cold open. Do you have anything else on that one?
No, so should we talk about the second intro?
Yes. So the couch gag was actually pretty clever
It was
and
called
funny.
Planet of the Couches.
Planet of the Couches.
It was a Planet of the Apes
It was a
parody.
Planet of the Apes thing where couches had become the overlords of the humans.
Which reminded me a little bit of that Rick and Morty episode where they kept going into parallel universes.
Oh, yeah,
And
yeah.
there was one where it was couches and telephones and,
Right.
sentient pizza.
Yeah. Did you ever see the Rick and Morty Simpsons couch gag?
Not yet. No.
Oh, you should check it out.
I
It's-
don't break our rules once again.
Oh,
I will not watch anything.
I did.
I will not watch anything until somebody requests it.
It's
and we
actually
do it on the
really
show.
good.
That's what I hear.
I won't
I
spoil
can't
it,
wait to
but
get to it. I don't cheat. I don't look ahead like you do
right.
with the 90th percentile topics.
I do look ahead. I gotta know what's in there, and I'm turning into your dad again. All right, but
My dad's not from Chicago. It doesn't sound anything like that.
let's go get a pizza and a dog. I like the deep dish pizzas. Oh, over here, over there.
He's not from Chicago.
I think Cubs are gonna take it this year.
He's a Yankees fan.
Hey, Jackie boy. We're going to Wrigley and then go to the Sears Tower and drop some pennies
you're
over
just-
the side.
You're just recreating the Perfect Strangers theme song, but with my dad. Let's go drive under a freeway after leaving my suburb home.
I mean, your dad did like to do the dance of joy.
Well, he's a musician.
He's a musician, of course. All right,
So I like the family gets arrested. They're running through the weeds. I guess they're just like cave people in this scenario, and
Yeah.
the couches catch them and they put them in their couch prison. And I
Right.
like the label. It was Homo reclinus.
Homo reclinus, yeah,
I like that.
I like that. That was
humans
cute.
who recline.
Yeah.
And that's all I have.
That was kind of it.
I
It was-
have weak ending.
Though, yeah, so it was a really smart visual gag, a parody of Planet of the Apes where couches are ruling the world. And then they take the Simpsons out on the iconic beach, and you see Lard Lad is standing in for the Statue of Liberty.
One of
the iconic ending.
3-4 weird Lard Lads. I want to talk about that later.
Well,
but-
Lard Lad is kind of... I associate Lard Lad mostly with Halloween because of the episode where the mascots come to life.
great episode. Yeah,
So, great
With
episode.
Jason Bateman's father-in-law, Mr. Paul Anka.
Really?
Yeah,
I didn't know
No,
that.
I make that just being funny. Classic Jack
Classic
humor,
Jack.
making up B celebrities' father-in-laws.
Do you think Jason Bateman's a B celebrity? He's an
Yes.
A-lister, I think.
Here's
Maybe you never saw a little movie called Hancock?
Do you want to know how I rank A-list, B-list?
I would love to know.
Would my mom have heard of them? A-list,
Your mom wouldn't know Jason Bateman?
maybe.
Maybe not even from Silver Spoons, right? Was the show he was on when he was a kid?
Maybe.
All right. Fair enough.
He's like a low A then.
Should we call your
He's
mom?
an A minus.
He's an A-. All right, very good. Yeah, and that's kind of it. The actual end of the bit is they're taken. I don't really know where the couch is leading them.
Oh, we didn't even. Did we mention the Lard Lad context?
Yeah,
It was
yeah,
the Statue of
yeah,
Liberty?
we did.
Yeah, okay.
I don't really know what the context was. The couch is leading the Simpsons down the beach, and then Homer grabs a rock, kills the couch, and then they just sit on it.
Which is
and then the
sad. He's a
episode
member of the
begins.
family. You don't kill the couch.
I guess. It was fine. It was.
For all the effort
I
they
don't know
put
that
into
it-
this Planet of the Couches, I would have liked some kind of stronger narrative end.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I don't even know, like, once you're doing, like, the couches rule the world, I don't even know if you need to do the iconic The Simpsons actually sit on the brown couch bit. Like, you could just start it. Like,
Well,
have
yeah.
little couches sit on them.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Something.
Just something else.
Something, yeah.
I don't know. That was just me. All right. Should we get into the first of the 3 vignettes?
Sure.
Cool.
Do you
So
want
the
to
first
do a
one,
quick plot recap?
Yeah, let's do a quick plot recap of the first
I'll throw it to you. You do a plot
one.
recap.
I've never done a plot recap.
You've done a few.
I don't know if I have.
You've done a few.
I don't know if
I'm not going to do hand motions to distract
Can
you
I-
like last time you did
Can
to
I have
me.
your dad do it?
Nope.
All right, right, so they go and Mr. Burns. All right, no. It was called Dry Hard, which, whatever.
It's like Die Hard,
But about drying.
but dry rhymes.
So
funny. It's a big
Dry
hat.
Hard,
Big hat.
it was a dual parody. It was a parody of Hunger Games first, and then it turned into a Mad Max Fury Road parody where
For a second.
Mr. Burns has all of the water, and everyone's experiencing a drought, and he's making different sections of Springfield have children kill each other in a giant like bubble dome type thing.
They're called
Basically Hunger
districts.
Games.
They're called-
Well, they didn't call them districts.
They're
in
called
this.
districts. They're not called sections. Maybe in the Planet of the Couches.
I
there's-
volunteer as tribute. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta
Well,
say.
may the odds
I'm going to the Quarter Quell this year.
be ever in your favor.
Is that the whistle?
That's a lot less dramatic. Like, the little black girl dies, and all
Yeah.
of the whole farming district gets together and goes, woo, woo. I can't whistle. I had to,
Love it.
yeah.
Okay, so yeah, so it's basically it's a Hunger Games thing. It eventually turns into it doesn't matter. It's a Hunger Games thing. It's really by the numbers straightforward.
Oh, one
And-
of the name of the districts was Dusty Springfield, which I liked.
Oh, that's cute. I missed that. Okay, I like that.
Yeah, Mr. Burns does his big screen town square video saying,
Right.
I want all the kids to fight. And we had them do, he goes, he pours the whole thing is he has all the water. They're all
Right,
dying
right.
of thirst.
I mentioned this.
Yeah, and he pours the water
I did
on
an
him.
adequate job of recapping.
It wasn't
the plot,
bad.
right,
It wasn't bad.
Yeah.
Kind of rushed near
Well,
the end.
I'm trying to get to the jokes.
It takes some time. I didn't bang them out of the park
we
right
have
away.
to make
It
room
took-
for the funny voices.
It took me 85 episodes to get to the point where I can quickly get the plot recapped in under 7 minutes.
All right.
But yeah, so he dumps a bunch of water and does a Irene Cara
flash
what a
dance.
feeling flash dance.
Flash dance thing, yeah.
I liked it. I thought it was
liked
funny. It went on a little too long.
I like the idea of it. It went on a little bit long, but I also kind of liked. They said that Springfield was going through a drought of Chicago Cubs proportions, which I don't like because I love the Cubs. They're the best team in baseball. Yeah. So we see the Hunger Games parody, and Springfield's going through a drought. There were a lot of really funny little bits that they did. The first one, I think, was Apu grabs a tortoise and squeezes it for water, and then we pan over.
But it's like juicing an orange. Basically, he
right.
kills an entire tortoise for
Yeah.
like 2 drops of
He just
water.
presses it in a giant pneumatic juicer, tosses the corpse onto a corpse of just discarded tortoises.
By the way, shout out to our buddies at Spook Tortoise, Karate Tortoise.
If a karate tortoise was there, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, no, he would have fought back.
But there's a pile of dead tortoises, and then it pans over, and he's selling tortoise water, which all of that I thought was really funny and clever.
It just works.
We see a bunch of things. Someone has a stand. They're selling pea-soaked baby diapers that people are wearing on their heads. Mo is using a dog's tongue to bathe himself.
Yeah, it was a little
that
hard
was
to watch.
gross.
Yeah.
But it was funny. I liked it. All of that was funny.
Basically, anytime you make fun of abject poverty, you get a laugh from Dan and Jack.
Absolutely. My
Also
biggest,
on The Simpsons.
So we end up. Lisa somehow ends up as the kid who's going to be fighting for her life in the Hunger Games type thing. Here's my question, Jack. I think you know where I'm going with this.
I don't. I wasn't paying attention.
All right. People are presaging my points on
Okay.
the Periscope, and that is, why was this not Bart? Instead, you're taking Lisa and putting. I understand. Katniss is a lady. You want to put Lisa in the Hunger Games role, but why is Bart not in there?
Bart should have been in the
some capacity.
Bart should have been in the
Bart's
capacity of not
Bart's
Peter.
not in it at all.
Not Peter. The other one, the Hemsworth.
I forget what his name is.
Liam.
Not as good as
Liam
Thor.
Hemsworth. Oh, what was his name? I like the Hunger Games books a lot.
I only read the first book. I
like-
liked
I like the-
Gail. Someone just said it on Periscope.
Gail.
It's Gail. Yeah, I mean, maybe Bart should have been there somehow. Like, he could have run by and been like, I like this, and he's just like killing people indiscriminately. Something like that.
Yeah,
maybe
something,
not that, but something like that.
So he's not the fact. It's not apparent. What's the word? It sticks out that he's not even in it.
Right.
At all.
If you have a thing like a
jarring.
battle royal type thing where children are killing children, and you don't have.
all of the characters have been asking, "Where's Bart?"
Well, yeah, that's it. That's what I was asking.
Touche.
And I am all of the characters. Yeah, so I thought that was weird, but eventually what happens is Homer is
Oh
the...
well, you're jumping ahead.
Well,
so,
I'm not...
all right.
We'll go line by line, but eventually what happens is Homer is the Woody Harrelson character, Hey
Yeah,
Mitch.
Homitch,
Homitch.
which I didn't get right away. I
Right.
like that. All right, fine.
Yeah. So then it just basically becomes a Homer and Lisa episode. And I think that kind of happened in the second one, too, where it became a Homer and Lisa episode.
I don't think Homer got that. I guess.
I mean, at the end, he's the one who's leading the charge against Mr.
I
Burns.
guess narratively speaking, it does take away from her arc. Yes.
It's just, and also, I forgot to mention this up at the top of the show. Sideshow Bob says, like, Homer Simpson, you're my arch nemesis, or something like that. And that's not true. Bart is his arch nemesis.
Yeah, Bart really got the short shrift in this episode.
Yeah, he totally got screwed. And it's just this episode is very apparent how much they shove Homer into the front and center at all times.
At cost,
even when
cost
it doesn't
of
make
story
sense
and
to do
humor,
so.
yeah.
Because you could have had Bart as the Hey Mitch character.
This was the exact same problem we talked about a month ago with the Futurama
How about
crossover.
this? Bart had won a previous Hunger Games, so he's trying to train
He
his
could have
sister.
been not the Gale. He could have been the
Trident guy.
the handsome Trident guy.
Trident guy.
I don't know why you guys didn't cast me. I'm much more Mediterranean looking than that
Trident
actor.
guy. He was in that shitty
Look at
Pirates of the
look at
Caribbean
shoulder
one
hair.
too.
Look at that shoulder hair. If I'm not Mediterranean enough, they didn't say he was this hairless Adonis in the books.
I didn't read that book, but
They said he was a 30-ish with a receding hairline,
Right.
Staten Island accent,
that's exactly what they
hairy
wanted.
shoulders character. That was in the book.
I didn't read the book, but I assume that you're telling the truth.
No, I am.
But yeah, so then what else happens? Oh, there was a funny bit where
Marge
was playing the
Elizabeth
Banks
character,
whose name was Polly Pocket.
Polly
Pocket.
Princess.
That was better.
I'm blanking on her name.
I'm also blanking.
So Lisa is loaded with weapons and falls, and the guns in her vest go off and shoots a bullet hole through Marge's hair.
Well, I just liked Lisa falling and all the guns just shooting off. I thought that was funny.
That was all right. I
Okay,
liked
I liked
Marge looking at. She sees the hair in her a hole in her hair. So
Effie trinket. Thank
so
you, Periscope.
to fix it, she takes a shotgun and just blows off the whole top of her stack.
Yeah, I like
of her
that too.
hair.
I like that
was
too.
Fun. That was
That
nice.
was- that was very
like,
funny.
that's something that's too violent for a real show. Fits perfectly with Treehouse of Horror.
Definitely.
As opposed to going overboard and having babies and cats murdered.
Yeah, absolutely. And then Homer shows up and he's drunk. He's drinking Logan's rum, which pun, but kind of a funny pun.
I didn't appreciate it, although
No?
I did appreciate it later on, which we'll get to.
Yeah, they call it back later, but we'll get there. He comes in as the Hey Mitch character, who's kind of a washed-up, drunk former winner
and
of
then
the Hunger
this was
Games.
probably the weakest line of the show, and this was because for all intents and purposes, this was not one of the worst episodes we've covered.
Yeah.
But this line was very reminiscent of the worst episodes we covered, where Homer basically doesn't do any subtle. Subversive commentary or parody even. He
Sure.
literally just explains it. He just goes, yeah, I'm just like all those characters in these young adult books who's like a mentor figure, but kind of drunk, but then gets sober in the middle. And just like, oh, yeah.
I don't know.
That's not a parody. That's literally explaining what you're parodying. That would be like if I wanted to do a parody of the airport movies in the 70s, and I call it Airplane with an exclamation point. And instead of having all these jokes about an airplane that's besieged by food poisoning,
Right, you have,
I
like,
just
people
go,
talking
isn't
jive."
it funny how all these airplane movies take themselves so serious, and there's always a doctor on board, and the pilot's always this stiff white guy?
Right.
Isn't
Yeah.
that something, huh?
I don't know. I actually liked that line and him saying,
it's too
I'll
on the
sober
nose.
up so quickly with no repercussions, just like a real alcoholic. I thought that was
It was
funny.
like Cary Grant in the climax of North by Northwest, too on the nose.
I've actually never seen North by
He's
Northwest.
in the Mount
I know
Rushmore.
what happens.
He's
It's
on the
Mount Rushmore,
nose.
but
I
anyway.
don't actually know if he's on the nose. I just worked for my metaphor.
Man, that was you almost had Cary Grant on your face if that hadn't worked out. Egg? Did he ever play a character called Egg?
Yeah, he won an Oscar for that classic Katharine Hepburn screwball comedy, Katie and Egg.
Yep. I got to see that one.
What do you say, old egg?
It's on my Netflix queue. I'll get to it one day. So Lisa comes into the actual dome, and I liked this.
It's called Arena, Dan.
It was an arena dome.
It's called Arena.
It was more of a...
They call it an arena.
It was more of a fighting pit, really. Ralph trips and falls, dies immediately.
But here it was very well
Yeah.
directed. He dies off screen, and then they use the well-worn visual from the Hunger Games books and movies, where the TV screen, the hologram of his face is projected into the sky.
Rises up in the sky.
And
yeah,
that was done so well because Ralph is literally killed off screen, and then you see
Right. The second later,
that's
the
a
thing
perfect.
comes up.
That's a perfect way to parody something.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, how can we use this thing, play it completely straight, but as a joke by using Ralph, as opposed to a minute previously where they just have Homer explain the Hey Mitch character type.
I liked both things, but I agree
Archetype, that's
that
what I
was a better gag. Yeah, and then they do a thing like it's Hunger Games, so you have to do a PETA thing.
Do you have to?
Yeah, I mean, if you're the Simpsons writers, you feel you need to do a PETA thing. How's that, Jack?
Fair enough.
So we meet a PETA who's spelled PITA, like the healthy bread.
Because Lisa's vegetarian, she'd be into that.
Right, and then we meet another PETA who's PETA, like what's it? The animal people.
The people
for the ethical
treatment of animals, which Lisa would also be into.
Right, two things Lisa would be into.
That are both named PETA.
Both named PETA, but not the PETA of the book. I kind of liked the
I like
idea.
both. Yeah.
And they're both like handsome, and Lisa's falling for both of them, and then Homer falls from the sky and kills both of them. What'd you think of that?
I liked the PETA gag. Yeah, it was fine. Whatever. I liked it. It was not one of the worst things in the thing.
Yeah, I didn't. I guess
at first I was like, why aren't they using Springfield characters for this? But the fact that they get killed so
it's
quickly,
a one-off gag.
Fine, sure.
Right, but that was the point when Homer came in, and it kind of started to become the Homer show a little bit. But
yeah,
I've
you're
already
right.
made that point.
They really did lose something with like what's Lisa's storyline here besides it being just a blatant parody.
Well,
I think we hit this
Hunger
problem
Games,
in previous Treehouse of Horror.
Aside from the fact that it's Hunger Games and you need to have a female in the lead role.
Yeah, but there's no story. It's literally just a flat parody of something pop culture.
Later on, she says, like, let's use our fighting skill to go against Mr. Burns, who's playing, like, the Emperor Snow role here, which I assume happens in the Hunger Games. I never saw the fourth movie.
I mean, we talked about this on previous Treehouse of Horror episodes that we've covered.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, you still need... It can't just be parody. You need some kind of story. Obviously, you only have 5-6 minutes to tell a story, but... You use the parody and the template of what you're parodying. That's already doing all the narrative work for you. The audience is with you. You can kind of just blaze through the story because we already know what's going to happen.
Right.
So you can spend more time on character and some kind of character arc, which they stopped doing about 15, 20 years ago, where now it's literally just, hey, here's a parody of something. You know, like Treehouse of Horror 1, it's a haunted house Amityville horror, but it's really about, oh my God, the Simpsons are so terrible that even a haunted house doesn't want to live with them.
Right.
You know, the Alien parody where it's a UFO, Twilight Zone, how to cook for 40 people.
But also the Simpsons are so
selfish and
right, and they feel people are against them, especially Lisa. Yeah,
the monkey's paw. They make great commentary about how the Simpsons have gotten too big and then go Calypso.
Even the Raven parody is, you know, in the episode, it has Bart and Lisa being like, "Oh, that's old, and it's not going to scare anybody," and then Homer's terrified of it, and it is just that's one of the best Treehouse of Horror segments they've ever done.
Treehouse of Horror. I still think Treehouse of Horror might be my number one. I know. Treehouse of Horror 5 with the shinning is probably...
Oh, yeah.
But
that's one of the best episodes, period.
I might go Treehouse of Horror 1 over Treehouse of Horror 5.
That's crazy
Treehouse of Horror 4... Treehouse of Horror 4 would also be top 5.
Right. That's you got the Homer Simpson with the donut, sells his soul, right?
And the gremlin on the bus,
Yep.
The introduction of Uter, who is apparently dead now.
Apparently, based on... what was that? That was the last...
Pictures
that
of
was the
dead
last
characters.
One. Yeah. So then we get to...
Oh, so yeah, they all start killing each other.
They all start killing each other, including baby Gerald.
Yeah,
who is blown up.
Is there a line that seeing an infant get shot and blown up into chunks on camera? Is there a line? Am I being grumpy old man?
You don't actually see him die, but you do see his unibrow get thrown up against the dome, bloodied and like scraped down, like with the blood.
That's not him dying.
But you don't see him get killed. It's a big difference. It's weird. This episode featured not only a bunch of child death, a baby death, a cat death, several child funerals.
A baby murdering,
baby decapitations. This was a very violent episode. It was very graphic.
Do you want to talk about? Do you want to talk about this now? Because you were really upset at the child murders in this episode.
To be honest, I was more upset when Snowball got killed.
Well, we'll
as
talk.
a
We'll
cat
get to
owner,
that.
but we'll
get to
talk
that.
about that. Yeah.
Do you want to talk about the kid deaths? Because I honestly don't have a problem with it.
No, I mean, Nightmare Cafeteria.
Exactly.
They definitely did it.
They've been doing this graphic
right,
type
and I just said that was my favorite Halloween episode, and it is.
Yeah.
But it's just, I don't know. It was just it was a little too casual, I guess. Just a lot of people died.
It was kind of casual.
Episode.
I would draw a line at babies. It's just something weird about babies being killed in a cartoon. I mean, did you see The Witch?
I did.
There's some gruesome baby death in that. Spoilers for The Witch.
Yeah, that was also a great movie. I don't know if you liked it.
That's fantastic. One of the best horror movies in decades.
Go see The Witch.
I've been seeing some comments, by the way. I definitely think a Stranger Things parody would be great, and they should definitely do that next year or they should do it next year.
I almost guarantee
they'll probably wait.
It's already written for
They'll
next
probably
year.
wait 4 or 5 years after it's not relevant
that
anymore.
That was something I was going to say. Hunger Games is a little bit old as a reference.
Yeah, they should have done Divergent. Hunger Games is so passé.
Well, the fourth Hunger Games movie came out when? Last year or 2 years ago?
Probably last year. No, it was last year because I went to go see The Revenant, and it was sold out, so I had to go see Hunger Games Part 4.
Nice. It just seems like when the first one came out, which was like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 6 or 7 years ago, that's the time to do it.
Hunger Games?
Yeah.
No, it was 2012.
Really? No, I think it was 2010, 2011.
Nope.
I don't know about that. Someone look it up.
I read it in 2011, and I definitely saw the movie after I read it.
All right.
It was the first book I ever read on Kindle. The first 3 books.
I thought for a second you were going to say it was the first book
I ever read. I waited. I was like, I'm waiting for something to really, really engage me. And I was 31 years old. And,
it's the story of a young girl forced to kill and loving two different
this is
guys.
it. I'm going to learn to read and tackle this
That's
trilogy.
The one. Yeah, so then that gets kind of to the end of the Hunger Games piece, and then it turns into the Mad Max kind of thing. I don't remember exactly how it happened, but Barney says to Flanders says something, and Barney says, that's just what we needed, that noggin of yours. And then it smash cuts to Flanders' head on Barney's Plow King plow.
Do you think that they were trying to go out of the way to bring in more references because it was the 600th episode? When's the last time we saw the Plow King truck?
I don't think...
Or was that just a coincidence?
I don't think just because it was the 600th episode.
It would have just been there anyway.
I feel like they're just doing that more and more now. Just referencing old one-off episodes to get like people like us to be like, oh yeah, that's from that episode.
Well, we are computer genius animators, and we know that the reason they do that is because they just type / Plow King, and it just automatically generates. That's how you
the
animate.
Plow King. Yeah, of course.
There was another. So there were 3 blatant Lard lads in this episode.
Sure.
You had the Lard lad in the couch of the Planet of the Couches as a Statue of Liberty.
Yep.
You had one in the dusty Springfield montage of a drought-filled Springfield.
Yeah.
And then there was another one in this Mad Max Barney breakdown scenario.
Sure.
Isn't that weird that there was 3 Lard lads?
Well, I think that's...
Is it such a quintessential Springfield monument? Is it up there with Jebediah and the Hollywood Springfield sign?
I think it is, because I think at this point it is. You know, it wasn't... for people like us who mainly know Lard Lad from the season 8...
Somebody says the season premiere was Lard Lad focused.
Maybe it was. We don't know. I haven't seen it. Suggested
I don't think he's lying.
Our website. I think he might be lying.
We're getting those misinformation Periscope
I think it's a
comments.
conspiracy for Lard Lad donuts.
What are you, Hillary Clinton?
No, I think Lard Lad, a lot like something like the Plow King, like these things that were one-off episodes that people like us recognize. They're relying on those more and more. I don't know if that's a good thing. I don't know if it's a bad thing.
It's lazy if they're not using it in the best way. If it's just like if it's in lieu of a joke. If it's just like, hey, remember this?
Well, but the idea that we're in a Mad Max type situation and Barney needs like a big muscle car, it kind of makes sense for it to be the Plow King plow.
Sure.
So I was on board for that. Lard Lad, though, did seem a little shoved in. Him being the Statue of Liberty, that made sense.
Yeah, 3.
Everything else,
three in the first 5 minutes of the show. Come on.
Yeah. Well, he's in the new opening, right? The HD opening. Lard Lad features
All
prominently.
Right. But still, three Lard lads.
It's too many Lard Lads.
It's too many Lard lads. Somebody actually said
I know someone said that on Periscope.
Also, so like you said, it turns into Fury Road. Where you see them all charging.
Yeah.
Which is funny because at the top of the show, you thought it was going to be a Fury Road parody.
I did because I knew it had to do with water.
Yeah. I would have much rather them not have done this and then save Fury Road for its own complete segment. I think I think there's enough there in that simple premise to do a 6-minute segment, maybe even the second shortest middle segment. Do like a whole Fury Road / like wacky races, death race parody with the Springfield. That to me would be a home run of a Halloween segment.
I feel like I've talked about this on the show before, but there's a comic now that is the Wacky Racers, and it is in like a Mad Max type situation.
Yeah.
It's like not like
is
a
it
hard
rated R?
I think it's like a teen
like
book.
Penelope. What's her name?
Penelope Pitstop.
Pitstop. Is she like have a shaved head and like
she might
a metal arm?
I don't know. I haven't actually read it, but I would have liked to see instead of get rid of the Hunger Games stuff. I know the kids like the Hunger Games, but just do Mad Max.
We're old.
Well, we're old.
Kids don't like the Hunger Games.
Who likes Hunger Games then? I tolerated them.
20-somethings.
Okay. They're kids to me. We're too old, Jack.
I like the Hunger Games.
You're too old, even though you're a year older than I am.
Just want to catch fire.
I just wanted, now that you're saying that, I would much rather have seen Lisa as Furiosa, that type thing. Mm-hmm. That would have been much better.
Marge is Furiosa.
Marge, barely in this episode.
Homer is Mad Max. Marge is Furiosa.
Yeah. Oh man, I would have loved to have seen that.
Chief Wiggum or someone fat as the guy with the metal mask.
Not only did we not get to, we saw some of that, but not really. But now they can't really do that because they already have done a Mad Max thing. Like the end of this segment was the Mad Max thing.
Yeah,
so I don't think they're going to do it again.
They blew their wad.
Exactly.
That's like a slang for
for ejaculation.
Oh. There's some kind of chewing tobacco reference.
I don't have anything else to say about the Hunger Games one. You got anything else?
Well, besides being very disappointed that they blew their wad on the Fury Road.
Yeah.
No, I don't.
right.
It ended very weird. So I guess they were spoofing the fact that there was oh my God, a series of books by doing end of part 1. Here's part 2. Maybe they're spoofing the fact that there's such a quick turnaround between
I think they're
them.
just parodying, especially the 3rd and 4th Hunger Games movie being one book that they split up into part 1 and part 2, and then a couple of other series.
Yeah, I mean
like
that
Twilight
didn't play
did
at
that.
all with the end of part 1, starting of part 2. That was more like.
Yeah,
here's the next
I
one.
don't know.
But yeah,
I don't
when
really know what
they
going for.
did do end of part 3 right away, and then beginning of part 4.
Yeah.
And there was nothing to it. Basically, they got rain. And it flooded, and then basically they got too much rain, and everybody drowned. And they're like, isn't that funny?
Right, and then everyone froze at the end.
Yeah, I hear Ramona saying that is end of part 3, part 1 would have been better. That would have been a funnier thing. Yeah. What was it? Onion Video did the Harry Potter part of 7 part 2 is going to be divided up into 18 parts that are like 10 minutes each.
Nice.
Yeah, that was
I like
a
that.
good Onion Video.
Classic Onion.
Huh. It's hard to believe you could coach anyone.
If you don't think I can, try watching just a few of the hundreds of movies with characters like me. Also, I sober up in the middle with no difficulty, just like real alcoholics.
All right, let's do the second segment, which was called BFF RIP. Jack, I'm going to let you do the recap on
All
this
right.
one.
So this one starts off with Lisa's friends suddenly getting murdered by mysterious circumstances. Eventually, we find out that it's actually Lisa's imaginary friend Rachel, who is also has like ghost-like powers and looks like a ghost. She's not like
She's basically a ghost,
She's
yeah.
not. She's transparent. She's not like a Drop Dead Fred imaginary friend.
So that's what I was going to say. Is this supposed to be a Drop Dead Fred parody? Is it kind of a reference?
I don't think Drop Dead Fred murders people. I think
don't
it's just
think
a
he did.
generic imaginary friends.
Yeah. All right.
Wiggum is out to get Lisa. He wants her to get arrested, and basically she's trying to prove that it's Rachel. She gets arrested. Rachel then realizes that Marge is Lisa's best friend and wants to take out
Right.
Marge. So Lisa breaks out of prison with help from Bart, which is probably his only. What was the third segment?
Oh, no, he was the third
Oh
segment.
yeah, he was the third
Kingsman
segment.
thing,
All right,
yeah.
so this was the first time we saw Bart all episode basically, and they go and they stop Rachel from taking out Marge,
Right.
and Homer briefly brings up his imaginary friend to fight her. That doesn't really go anywhere, and then it ends.
we'll talk about
it
that,
ends with
but-
more Homer. They shoehorn Homer in.
Pop. Yeah, so what do you think about this line? Janie gets killed immediately. She's run over with the lawnmower. And Janie, a character we rarely see, I guess she's Lisa's best friend?
She's typically in the best friend role for Lisa.
Right.
Or was back in the day.
So she gets killed right away, and we cut to her funeral. Or even before that, Lisa has a line where she said, "Oh, God, my best friend's dead. I mean, sure, it'll make a great college essay, but was it worth it?" I kind of like that line. I don't know if you were a fan.
It was fine. What
I
my
chuckled.
first thought was the lawnmower goes off on its own. We don't know it's an imaginary invisible friend at the time.
Right.
I thought it was going to be a Maximum Overdrive parody.
Sure.
Which is a classic 80s movie starring Emilio Estevez and Pat Hingle. And I think it's the only major movie that Stephen King actually directed.
It is the only movie.
I don't know if it's adapted from one of his novels or if he wrote it straight for the screen.
It's not adapted. He wrote the screenplay and he directed the movie, both while extremely high on cocaine.
Well, it worked.
He's admitted that.
It
I'm not
worked.
throwing shade at
Christopher
the king.
Nolan, if you want to reach those highs of Dark Knight and Inception, start doing some cocaine. It worked for Stephen King.
Yeah, right.
Because this is a Maximum Overdrive is one of my favorite movies. It's such a quintessential dumb 80s action movie.
I'm not a huge fan of Maximum Overdrive.
It's one of my favorite movies. I mean, it's one of my favorite to watch.
Sure.
Anyway, they've never done a parody, and it's amazing to me because
Right.
it's such a simple concept. Basically, automated device,
All machines
machines, yeah,
become sentient.
and kill
Yeah,
people.
right.
Watch the first 5 minutes on YouTube. It's fucking hysterical.
It is. It's good.
Yeah, they did do an episode called Maximum Overdrive,
They
but
did.
it had nothing to do with.
But that was about eating steaks and driving trucks.
But yeah, no, I'm surprised they've never done a Maximum. That seems like an easy one to do with Springfield.
Yeah. I agree.
So that was my first thought with this episode.
Yeah,
Oh, also, then the tombstone falls at the funeral for Sherry and Terry. At the funeral for Jamie, a tombstone falls and crushes spontaneously on Sherry and Terry.
Because Sherry and Terry come and say, "Oh, Lisa, now you're so interesting. Will you be our best friend?" And Lisa's like, "Yes." And then they're immediately killed.
And that reminded me of they should do a Final Destination parody. That would also be an easy one to do that they've never done.
I think they have.
Really?
I could be wrong.
With like weird not Rubik's Cube. What's it called?
Rube Goldberg.
Rube Goldberg traps kill
Related
people.
to Fritz Goldberg, perhaps.
That's a common last name.
It's very common. Watch the Goldbergs on ABC. Based on my family, apparently.
Free grew up a child in the 80s in a Jewish suburban family.
You know, Jeff Garlin was my father. And
like Jeff Garlin was actually your father.
Yes, and Wendy McClendon Covey from Reno 911 was my mother. Yeah, I think they did do a Final Destination one. We can look that up later, or someone, if you want to let us know on the Periscope Live. But a lot of child funerals. I had the thought, like, there's a lot for the 600th episode and also the fun Halloween episode. A lot of child death, multiple child funerals. And then Homer actually had a line. He says, "Who thought a child funeral would be such a downer?" Which I laughed at because I was thinking the same thing.
What you were thinking in child funeral, you would expect it not to be.
Why are there so many child funerals and baby deaths in my comedy show on a Sunday night when I have to go back to work tomorrow?
I don't know.
It was a little. Al Jean, we want answers.
So
what else you got?
So we go to Terry and Sherry's funeral. I like that they have identical twin brothers,
right?
Who kind of look like Grimes.
A little bit, yeah.
That was like a fun little visual game. I like that.
That was good, and there was a whole kind of rhyming thing. It was Sherry and Terry and whatever their names were.
I didn't need that.
But and then they bring out Drew Carey. And it was actually Drew Carey. Yeah. I think so.
I was wondering. It was so random that he showed up. That's because Carrie rhymes with Sherry and Terry.
He literally came out and he had a line that was basically just like Bob Newhart's line in the Krusty Fakes His Death episode. It was just like I thought this was Microsoft. I'm not supposed to be here.
Wasn't, and
that was it.
The Drew Carey thing was pointless, and we know Drew Carey can be scary, as covered in our 90s percentile episode,
yes.
Where he did the elevator ride.
Of course. But, before we watched this episode, I was looking it up on Wikipedia, and I saw Drew Carey's in it as himself, and I was like, oh, good, that's something to look forward to. And it was just a wasted opportunity, I thought.
Yeah, no, it was, the price was wrong.
There it is.
There was no moon over Karma that night.
No, not
Cleveland
at all.
sucks.
Oh, boy. Let's talk about Rachel.
Five of shit world.
Let's
five
talk
of crap world.
Let's talk about Rachel. That's the actual
so Lisa
friend.
goes to a discount grief counselor.
Yes.
I like that. Was a very classic gag to me. Something very a very funny yet exaggerated, kind of ridiculous, but not fantastical idea. A discount grief counselor.
You could see Springfield as the kind of place that would have a discount grief counselor.
I think I went to a discount psychiatrist growing up, and he fixed nothing.
No, he did not, as our viewers and listeners can tell. But no, I want to talk...
the sadness.
You said that with such earnestness in your eyes, so I'm a little concerned.
Oh, they are the windows to my dark
Kills
soul.
The sadness, don't you know? And now you're just crying. Now you're just crying your tears of sadness.
I chose our live episode to hundreds of viewers after the 600
to reach out
to break down.
My pain is real. Hey, Jackie boy, you need a hug. Oh, whoa, you looks like you're crying. I'll be back later.
Oh, that's the best impression of my dad you've done yet.
Oh, man. Okay. I want to talk about Rachel, who is voiced by Sarah Silverman, which you said you didn't think it even sounded that much like Sarah Silverman.
Sounded a little... I don't know. Didn't have her high-pitched, I'm just a girl shtick.
Yeah, I mean... Yeah, that's probably true. Like, it wasn't much of a Sarah Silverman type, and I feel like usually when they bring in,
which is good. She's trying to broaden her acting, her range.
But Sarah Silverman, I would say, is known for a very specific type of comedy or acting. Like, I'm thinking of the episode where they get a Smart House, another Treehouse of Horror episode back in the day. They get Pierce Brosnan,
which was way ahead of its time.
Suave and British, and that's what you get Pierce Brosnan.
And that's
suave
what we were
British
expecting
thing.
Sarah Silverman to be.
Exactly. I wanted her to be suave and British, and
they should have saved her for the Mo finger.
That would have been good. I would have watched that.
Was that what it's called? Mo finger?
It was called Mo finger.
I just realized how dirty that sounds when you say it out loud.
Oh, I didn't know that either. Oh my goodness.
Mo finger going up a butt.
On Periscope, someone's telling us that Sarah Silverman has played a character on the show who was much more in line with her persona. So that makes sense.
I'd like to see some Laura Silverman because she is great in Bob's Burgers and The Comeback. And
Comeback's a great show.
She's great in The Comeback, but she can do voice acting in Bob's Burgers, so I'm assuming she would also be great for The Simpsons.
Of course, absolutely.
Also, I saw her live with the cast of Archer a few years back, and they were reading famous movie scripts, but in cartoon voices, and she was hilarious.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
That's really cool. All right, so what else do we have to say about this episode? There was actually a Wiggum and Lou bit. We've talked about
The Wiggum and Lou
those.
corner.
We've talked about the Wiggum and Lou corner. I actually liked it in
This was one of the
episode.
better ones. You know why?
Why?
Because it was incorporated directly into the
Because
plot.
it made sense.
It
You're right.
wasn't a weird cutaway where they just happened to be driving past Wiggum and Lou, and then they cut to Wiggum and Lou and stopped the show cold for a 5-minute conversation between them.
Yeah,
it was
you're right.
basically Wiggum was interrogating Lisa, and he goes, is it some kind of, is Rachel stand for some kind of robot? And he starts off strong. It's like, is it some kind of robotic algorithm, computerized
hotel?
help me out here, Lou. And Lou's like, you got yourself into this one, which is a great retort. It's rooted in
absolutely.
character. And then Wiggum like starts to fight with him and starts to insult him, and then he goes, "You're
Jeez, Lou, stop being such a
help me out here, Lou." So like the joke works. It's in character. The biggest thing, it's not a cutaway. It was part of the interrogation scene.
Yep.
That's how you do a Wiggum and Lou corner.
Agreed. And then there was another Wiggum line, which was probably the funniest line to me in the episode.
Well, we are raging atheists.
We have been criticized for our views on atheism.
It's right.
But Wiggum says a line. Lisa says, "Rachel, my imaginary friend, is murdering people," and Wiggum says, "The only invisible killer I believe in is God," which
is not atheist.
I liked.
That's actually the opposite of atheism. You
That's
believe in
well,
God,
when
and
we-
he's a horrible
but
killer.
we found it funny for that reason.
he kills our close ones with cancer
It's true,
and car accidents.
and all of that fun stuff. Yeah, so we like that.
So this is where the cat dies.
Yeah, so Rachel starts trying to kill Marge, and she throws a knife at Marge, and Snowball 2 sees it, and heroically, because cats are great, thrusts herself in front of the blade.
Just like the golden
to save
retriever
Marge.
at the end of the made-for-TV movie, The Birds Part 2, Land's End, where the family golden retriever jumps in the path of a bunch of dive-bombing seagulls and dies to save the family.
I never
which,
saw
as
The
an owner
Birds
of 2
2.
golden retrievers, broke my heart. But
Oh, boy.
I know as an owner of 2 cats...
Yes. So
yeah.
I didn't like it. I mean, I approve of the cat's bravery, but the cat is stabbed. We see the cat get killed, and then it was kind of funny, but I cringed because I'm a cat owner. It lands right in the garbage, and then Homer immediately just takes out the trash. That was pretty funny. I kind of like that.
The baby death, the baby Gerald. I know he's the most unlikable of babies, but a baby death was just crossing the line. It's not terrible for a Simpsons Halloween episode.
Right.
Killing cats, killing pets. Nobody wants to see
killing
dead pets. Nobody wants to be reminded of their dead pets. Nobody wants to see the animals die.
Killing pets is almost realer than killing
you
a
don't
human
want
character.
that. Look, I saw Independence Day 1 in the theater. I watched an entire city be destroyed, millions of people killed. When that dog jumps at the last second of the overpass, that audience cheered. They're
Of
like,
course.
that one dog survived. Who cares about the millions of of humans
you
that
want
just
the
died?
fucking dog to live.
Yeah, you don't want to see. We don't
want
want to see animated pets die.
No, we
I mean,
definitely don't.
The Homer taking out the trash was funny, but was it worth it?
No, I don't know if it was.
Also, this was where I really realized that this was 2 Lisa-centric episodes.
Yeah.
Which is very rare for Treehouse of Horror. They usually do a Homer, a Bart, and a Lisa.
Yeah.
Or a group.
Yeah, I mean, these were 2 Lisa episodes that sort of turned Homer. This one less so. The first one was more turned Homer. But
that's I wouldn't call that a Homer episode.
No, I wouldn't either. It was just
yeah.
it was a Lisa episode where they just shoved in Homer at the end.
Right, yeah.
But yeah, it was Lisa Bart basically.
Which
is odd.
Yeah, I'm surprised by that.
Yeah.
Give Marge an episode.
Give
Do
Marge an
fucking
ep.
Marge as Furiosa.
Now they can't. They blew their wad. We talked about it already. It was in the beginning.
Is that going to be the name of the
show.
episode? They blew
Could
their
be.
wad?
They blew their wad.
Octoween 2?
Octoween 2, they blew their wad. I liked, so Lisa's in prison, and Bart comes to break her out.
Technically, she's in jail.
She's in jail. She's behind bars where she belongs. And Bart comes to break her out, and I liked when they escape, they come out in a cart of used prison harmonicas. I laughed at that.
Yeah, no, that's a funny Simpsons gag.
That's an old-timey Simpsons gag.
Yeah. You know what threw me off? This is really nitpicking.
Sure.
So I don't give a shit. I'm just going to point it out.
Alrighty.
The font was very clean cut. Like it was done by a computer. It wasn't like hand-drawn Simpsons-y.
Sure.
Yeah.
I hear you. That is pretty nitpicky, but I agree with
It
you.
took me out, clearly.
Yeah.
But the fact that I noticed it.
There's a charm that's lost, I would say.
You
when you
know,
do that.
good handwriting, you don't notice. That's what I always tell everybody I write things to.
Yeah. So Lisa escapes from jail. She rushes home to save Marge. And I don't know if you were as high on this as I was.
I was high on something else.
Rachel, the imaginary friend, says, no one else can see me. And then Homer comes out and says, I can see you. Because I had an imaginary friend when I was her age, Sergeant Sausage, and then Sergeant Sausage appears.
So wait, Homer sees the imaginary friend because he also has imaginary friends?
Maybe, or maybe it was just because he was drunk.
I thought it was like a Quantum Leap thing where,
Could be.
like in Quantum Leap, animals, children under 5, the age of innocence, and the mentally challenged could all see Al. And also people with the same brain waves as Sam. So I thought it was like alcoholics can see imaginary friends,
Maybe that's
because
what it
they're
was.
imagining pink elephants.
Someone on a number of people on Periscope are telling us,
Okay,
yes, it was because he was
That's
drunk.
what I
so
thought.
there you go.
And I liked that. And I also liked the fact that he was drinking a Hunger Games parody, sci-fi parody alcohol, Logan's rum.
Right, which he was drinking in the first bit,
Which
too.
I didn't like the pun in the first bit. I thought it was too on the nose.
Yeah.
But the idea of him still drinking this anachronistic, like a different parody drink.
Right.
That I actually thought that was really clever.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I liked that it carried over. What did you
Oh,
think
the other
of?
one, by the way, was Amstel Blight, which
Oh, I didn't even see that. All right, whatever.
because Amstel Light, and
Right,
Blight,
it's
it's post-apocalypse.
It's Halloween. I'm still Blight is what we drink.
It's Dracula
Hello,
Fingers.
everyone. I decided to delay my
Hey.
appearance.
I was wondering what happened.
I was busy drinking an Amstel Blight.
No, you drank blood.
Oh, I'm such a bad vampire. I'm gonna go
You're just as dumb
out
as
into the daylight.
You're just as dumb as the Dracula.
Oh,
Do I drink hipster light? Do I drink blood or do I drink hipster beer?
You and I should go out tomorrow in the morning. I like to get up at sunrise and drink Mountain Dew.
I like to drink Brooklyn Blah-ger.
Brooklyn Blah-ger.
It's a dumb vampire. That's the thing.
All right, guys, get out of here. We got no time for vampires on this Halloween episode.
See you in May. Blah.
What did you think of
Yes,
Sergeant...
he's the Dracula. We can't legally bring DiCaprio back as a human.
Right, but we brought him back as a vampire. What did you think of Sergeant Sausage, the imaginary friend?
Did nothing for me. It was completely
Really?
Yeah. I was just like, whatever.
I loved the
There's
idea.
got to be a funnier Homer imaginary friend.
I don't know. It was simple. I loved it. It was the kind of thing Homer would absolutely think of when he was a kid: a giant sausage that talks, a giant hot dog.
Yeah, I guess.
And I just thought the design of him was really, really cute. So I wish
the
on
voice
board.
was a little bit more original than like another Hank Azaria.
Sure.
Yeah, no, it didn't do much for me. So did we talk about the motorcycle?
No, we skipped over the motorcycle. So yeah, let's talk about
Yeah,
that.
so Bart breaks her out of prison, and to get back to the Evergreen Terrace really quickly, he's like, "Why don't you use your imagination, which can create things?" Which I think was never established. Basically, everybody has imaginary friends.
Lisa makes reference to that. She's like, "Do you really think my imagination's so powerful?" And Bart says, "Well, you made an imaginary friend who's killing people." And she's like, "Oh, you're right." And then she makes the.
But that's like
the
two
motorcycle.
completely different stories to me. Of the one being imaginary friends you love so much that they're kind of real, like Drop Dead Fred,
Right.
And one, whatever you think of exists. That's more Bart in that
the
Twilight
Zone
episode.
Yeah, where he turns Homer into the Jack in
But
the Box.
whatever, nitpicking. She makes the motorcycle, and Bart says, "Can you at least picture me a seat?" And she pictures him a little girly basket, and
Yeah.
then imagines a helmet that says
That says
"Girl Power."
It has a
I like
flower
that.
on it.
That was fun.
I like that too. That was cute.
So they get there. They try to stop Rachel. Sergeant Sausage doesn't do anything. Again,
No,
maybe that's why I didn't like it, because it served no plot.
There was no payoff. I'll give you that. She just shoves him in the microwave.
Which is, by the way, a huge microwave.
It was a huge microwave because he was a large sausage man, and he was crammed into that microwave. But
She did pull a Grufik. She didn't forget to wear a helmet.
That's right.
Yeah, and she doesn't believe in 9/11.
There you go.
Didn't happen. It was all holograms.
Rachel, the imaginary friend, doesn't believe in
It was
9/11.
all holograms. Look at the video. The shadows of the airplanes go past the cranes.
I did kind of like they shove in Sergeant Sausage in the microwave, and then at the very end, Homer's eating him from the microwave. I kind of like that.
That was just the redux of the Pinchy episode, which is
That's true. But
when you're
600
reduxing
episodes,
when
my
you're
friend.
reduxing a post-classic episode, you might as well be. That's like multiplicity, like doing a clone of the clone. She touched my Pepe Steve. She touched my Pepe Steve.
Multiplicity, underrated movie.
Yeah,
if you
great
guys
movie,
haven't
yeah.
seen it, check it out.
Michael Keaton going places.
Absolutely. I don't really have that much else to say. I mean, they fight Rachel and she goes away, and Lisa turns her into her mother or something.
Yeah,
I didn't really get it. It wasn't that funny. I don't have much to say about it.
Just to get a little writery nerdy here. Again, I understand it's Treehouse of Horror. I understand they're not trying to win a Pulitzer here. But I do think it needed some character work. Basically, again, core idea works. Lisa has an imaginary friend that loves her so much that it's killing her friends.
Sure.
If I'm rewriting the episode, I would have started with her making this friend first. Basically, Lisa going, "I'm so lonely. I'm such a lonely child. My imagination and my genius keeps me isolated from my human friends. I wish I had an imaginary friend." And then it going too far. She imagines it too much, and that's why she's murdering, which is there, but it's not said. And then you follow that arc. And basically, the whole story should be pushed by her friendship. Instead, it just seemed like, oh, here's this ghost that's kind of haunting Lisa.
I had an imaginary friend, which is really
Lisa's
lazy
not
to fill the
torn
backstory
whatsoever.
in.
Lisa's basically just like, get out of my life, stop killing my friends. There should have
Sure.
been some kind of conflict where Lisa's actually, I really love how it's so nice. On the one hand, it's terrible you're murdering people. On the other hand, it's nice that somebody actually cares about me so much to kill people.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely goes back to the point you were making earlier about how the earlier Treehouse episodes were more story-based and kind of character-based, and these are now...
It's not hard.
They're now much more just parodies and gag fests and doing crazy things they can't do in the normal episodes.
Turning her into her mother isn't necessarily not a not clever way to end it, but it just comes out of nowhere. It's not anchored in anything.
What was the point of it? Was it just to say, like, oh, once she's an adult, she can't be an imaginary person anymore?
Or it's how daughters turn into mothers and sons turn into fathers, which is an interesting point, but has nothing to do with the story or narrative.
How does that get rid of the imaginary friend? Turning her into an adult?
How does that get rid of...
I don't understand how that solves the problem Lisa was facing.
So it's rooted in, say, imaginary friends are something
of
a
kids?
That's childish.
I guess that's what they were sort of going for.
It's a mess.
It's not really there. So it was kind of a weak ending to what was not a terrible segment. But we get to our final segment, the strangely named Mo Finger, which I didn't think was a weird name.
But he is very rapey. We don't know where his fingers have been. They probably smell.
Yeah.
Like something. I don't know what. Something gross.
Like butts.
Butts. Cum.
Butt juice.
Butt juice.
Oh, boy. So Mo Finger, it is a kind of a mashup.
Finger.
It's kind of a mashup Bond thing.
Dracula Fingers.
They should have called it Dracula Fingers. But it's also a Kingsman parody. More directly.
Good movie.
Very good movie. And, that was already a parody of Bond, so they kind of have to do some Bond.
But it was really
stuff.
much more of a Bond. They're using Bond music and Blofeld is the villain. It's much more Blofeld than it is Kingsman, which I get because Bond's much more iconic and easy to parody. But it was a weird amalgam that kind of didn't quite land for me.
It would have been good if they had gotten
This is my didn't quite land posture.
I like it. It's a fun little jig that you're doing.
I didn't care for this episode.
So the whole thing is Bart becomes a secret agent for Mo. Apparently Mo runs some kind of Kingsman-like secret society.
I'm actually like this secret genius here. This whole time is all a front.
Basically. And it starts with Bart is on the run from the bullies, and Mo is the one that saves him in a loose parody of the scene in Kingsman where Colin Firth beats up a bunch of people really, really easily.
Yeah, I want to talk about this real quick. The very first, it opens in Medias Res with, actually, that's just like the Planet of the Couches segment. It opens in a chase sequence.
Yeah.
And Bart's being chased by the bullies. Yeah, and Kearney goes, or somebody goes... or Bart goes, didn't anybody tell you violence doesn't solve anything? And I think Kearney says, don't try to give us any math. You have to stop and think about it. The only math in there is the word solve. That's a really weak.
Oh, I guess that's the joke.
That's a really weak connection.
Yeah.
Am I wrong on this?
I didn't get, maybe, I think you're right that is the joke. Saying solve means math.
The word violence the phrase violence never solved anything. I don't think anybody would ever have a double entendre as some kind of math problem.
And that's kind of what I thought the joke was, that Kearney's so dumb, he's for some reason equating with math.
I think that was just really weak.
I think you're right. That I think it's just a weak math pun. But anyway, more kids get killed in this episode. Mo kills all the bullies. They say, we're 13, right?
Kearney says this.
Yeah.
Now...
Kearney has a child.
They've established Kearney's way too old.
Kearney was alive for Watergate.
He drives a Hyundai?
Hyundai, I think.
He drives a Hyundai?
I don't know.
Or he drives one of them.
This isn't Simpsons trivia.
Yeah, he has a kid who sleeps in a drawer. How is he 13?
Yeah, I don't know. It's weird.
But at this point, I really didn't care about seeing dead kids because, again, I already seen a baby die. I already seen a cat die.
Yeah.
Once the cat died, it was just, you might as well just... kill all the kids.
Take my heart right now, Simpsons writers. Take my heart out. You killed a cat.
Who's
I don't
this?
care for it. Hello, my name is John Johnson. I'm a cat owner. I'm from Queens.
You're the guy that really, really hates cat violence.
I really, really hate cat violence because I've owned several cats in my life, and they're very good pets. They clean, they poop in a little box, and I think the Mets are gonna take it this year.
Why do you keep saying that? What is that thing? Also, they lost. They're out of the playoffs.
What do you mean I keep saying it? I just got here.
Why are you getting so many hearts?
I like the Mets. I like cats. If I have one more characteristic, I'm a fully fleshed out character. So here it is. I love crossword puzzles.
Where's this love for my genius character, Trunk Tronkstein? Trunk Cronkstein.
I know Trunk Cronkstein.
The guy who sublets.
And you are no Trunk Cronkstein.
No, of course I'm not. He's a completely separate character.
That's right. All right, I'm going to go out to the
He's
bus
fully
right
fleshed
now.
out. He likes the sublet.
But I'll be back to talk about the Mets in another podcast. You said they're out of the playoffs?
They're not playing for another year.
Well, I guess I'll be back in
Tim
I'll be back next episode then.
Tim Tebow will be playing with them in April.
Oh yeah. Oh, Ting Tebow's so great.
Ting Tebow, the Chinese import.
I love Ting Tebow too. The way that he would get down and
the panda bear that's really good at first base.
That's exactly correct.
That's me. Ting Tebow.
Oh, Ting Tebow's in studio. I feel like the premise of this podcast has really gotten out of control.
You want to throw the ball around?
It would be my life's dream.
You know what my bat's made out of? Bamboo.
I just saw a guy in a Mets cap and a bamboo-eating panda run out of the studio. I don't know what that was. I went to the bathroom real quick just then.
I don't know. He went by and
He
said, "By the way, my catchphrase," and I'll try to do my best, Ting Tebow here.
Yeah.
Not everything's black and white.
My name was John Johnson, actually, sir.
No,
And,
the panda bear.
Oh, the panda bear talks from Queens too.
Ting Tebow. He said, "Not everything's black and white."
Ting Tebow, I didn't know you could talk English.
He just was this whole time, just interacting with
I
him.
didn't even know.
Did that whole bit about bamboo.
I thought you were narrating for it and in an elaborate ventriloquism routine. Another thing that John Johnson enjoys very much.
So they go to Moe's.
Yeah, they go to Moe's. I actually really like the idea of all the barflies are actually secret agents. So if you're going to do a Kingsman type thing, I kind of liked that as a
I
premise
liked
to
Carl
hang it on.
Lenny goes, and Lenny's voice was off too. Lenny goes, "So what was it like in Central Europe?" And Carl goes, "Let's just say I canceled a few checks."
I loved it. I love
That's
that
a
line.
very smart line. That took me a second.
Yeah, I liked it. I was a big fan.
That's better than violence doesn't solve anything.
Yeah.
Nah, don't use math. Yeah, then they show the dead characters. You have Marvin Monroe,
Right, it
Homer, because they're saying Bart's father, Homer, is dead.
Right. In this story, Homer was dead.
Yeah.
I kind of knew
Just like
he was
Kingsman.
going to show up
Yeah.
and be the villain.
And Uter. When did Uter die?
I don't know. I mean, he died in Nightmare Cafeteria and was
Along
turned
with
into
everybody
Uter Rotten,
else.
But yeah, everyone else died too.
I mean, surely the Simpsons wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, yeah, I don't know. And then Moe does this weird thing where he's kind of kissing Homer's picture. Do you remember that?
Yeah, I do remember
I don't
that.
know what
I
that
don't know
was.
what that was.
That was just weird. I liked when Moe says to Bart, like, when you need a weapon, so we're going to go talk to Q. And he gives him a pool cue and says, this is your
it.
weapon.
This is the cue.
I like that.
Yeah, it was fine.
You didn't like that?
It was fine.
Q from Bond,
Yeah, no, it was
obviously.
fine,
And
yeah.
he's a bar owner. He's got cues, pull cues around.
Yeah, it was fine.
I was a big fan of that one.
All right, let's run away. Let's
all right.
cut the shit.
No, I really, honestly, I don't have that much to say about this segment.
So yeah, I really wish they would have tried a little harder to not do Homer backwards, do something like Remo without the H, and then the joke could have been, "Yes, don't you get it? It's my name backwards without the H," something like that. Although I did like Homer not realizing that it was like a coincidence. They go, "Oh, I get it. Remo backwards is Homer." Yeah, that was planned.
Yeah, I didn't love that, but it was fine.
But yeah, why give away the twists? I mean, I don't know. There's something better they could have done there.
Right.
I did like Homer's plot. So Homer's
yes.
basically somebody stealing all the world's beer. It turns out to be Homer as Blofeld, and his plan is to destroy the world with lava.
With lava, yeah.
And then I'll use the beer to celebrate.
Yeah, I like that. That was
Yeah.
that was a very Homer thing. Yeah, and it all kind of culminates in two things. One is a Steely Dan concert, which I guess it was actually Steely Dan.
Yeah, that's a relevant.
I mean, look at me. I am 31 years old. I don't think I've ever heard a Steely Dan song in my entire life.
I mean, I remember they won the Grammy over Kid A,
I
and
remember
everybody
that.
was very upset.
Yeah. rightfully so. I was one of those upset people.
I mean, Kid A is a great album.
Great album. But yeah, it's weird to like it's 600 episode. Who are we gonna get? Oh, let's get Drew Carey and Steely Dan.
That's a good point. The fact that it's 600, you think they could like for the movie they got Tom Hanks.
Sure.
Yeah, you're right. They could have done a little bit better than Steely Dan. They should have
Yeah,
gotten.
I mean-
they should have gotten Voicey Dan.
They should have gotten
They
Voicey Dan.
should have got Voicey Dan.
Is that my name now? Voicey Dan?
Voicey Dan.
All right, I'll take it.
what's my
Angry,
Adverb.
depressed Jack.
Oh, I don't want that.
Nope, that's gonna stick. We got some hearts.
It doesn't
on that
end
one.
with a Y. Well,
Just
angry does.
Depressy Jack. Do you want to be Depressy Jack?
All right, I'll be depressing Jack. That makes
man.
me want to cry.
Oh boy.
At least this crotch lady here likes me.
The spam bots are giving you kisses.
I'll
That's
take
good.
it.
It kind of culminates in a big fight at this Steely Dan concert, which is kind of like the big scene.
The
in,
church scene, right?
The church scene in Kingsman.
Now, the church scene in Kingsman, besides being very well choreographed and just great fight and great action,
Yes.
it really plays well to. It's like some kind of punk song that's playing, right?
Yeah, I don't remember what song it was.
Very energetic.
Right.
Now they use this very slow Steely Dan a jazz song here,
Yeah.
and I get the joke is look how opposite of the movie this is. This is so slow. This doesn't fit a fight scene.
I
but it was
guess.
so lifeless and
Well,
boring.
yeah.
It didn't work. It didn't work.
So
You
that's-
can do ironic juxtaposition with songs and stuff. This didn't work at all.
I agree with you. I think on the whole, this episode was really well animated, and I'm going to give it high marks in production. But Kingsman, the two major scenes that they're parodying from the movie are the
two famous scenes,
the
yeah.
two famous scenes: Colin Firth fighting in the bar and Colin Firth in the church, and both of them were really lackluster.
Yeah, no, it was fell completely flat.
Yeah.
I know I'm biased because I don't know that much Steely Dan, but
Right.
I think that's a big part of it.
Yeah.
I think this was like Bruce Springsteen or something. I don't know.
That would be a bigger get for
Born,
episode 600.
born in the
He could
USA.
have sang his hit song "Mo Finger" from
Yeah.
from Greetings from Asbury Park. It was a hidden track. Look it up.
Yeah, no, maybe they could have gotten like a Robbie Robertson or like some kind of Bond. Maybe you get a Bond singer.
Yeah,
I don't know. Something.
Well, it's funny you say.
Why didn't they get Prince?
It's oh boy.
He's dead.
It's funny that you say get a Bond singer because the episode does end with this big Bond type opening sequence thing.
Yeah, so so it basically
You want to talk about the line first?
The Sherry
yeah,
line,
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah. That's yeah.
Yeah,
So let's go back and talk about that.
So, like
first.
we said, it's a Kingsman parody, but it's also a Bond parody, and
Right.
it's very Bond-like with Bart being in the middle of the ocean with a young lady in a bikini,
Yeah.
who's Sherry, which I guess is one of Bart's girlfriends.
I guess.
And
Yeah,
they,
we've
and
seen
they
them-
use the classic Bond pun. I think he's having a little Sherry.
right.
I don't know. Also, sex with a 10-year-old girl.
Yeah, I guess. Well, I even thought it was kind of a more of a Kingsman parody too, because at the end doesn't he have butt sex with that girl he saves?
Yeah, but that had nothing to do with any. That
I guess
there's no butt sex joke with Sherry.
Yeah.
which is good.
which is good. There was enough children death. We didn't need
Yeah, you
more
don't
children
need butt sex with cats and babies either.
Yeah, but anyway, so they have that line, and then it ends with kind of an episode 600 montage.
Yeah, it's
Bond
well, he's
title thing.
006, and then the 006
Right.
scrambles underwater
Into
in like
600.
a Skyfall Thunderball type Bond theme into 600. I like this again.
Yeah.
I like the idea that it's
was good looking.
Treehouse of Horror episode first, but with the header and the footer being milestone 600th.
Yeah.
And this is this Bond Goldfinger parody about it being 600 episodes.
Yeah.
I would say it's up there, not quite. I would say a good distance from, but it's up there with You'll Never Stop, The Simpsons.
Yeah.
Like this
Have
kind
no
of
fear when I have stories
self-aware,
for you.
funny song about, hey, look, this is a thing. We're still on the air.
Yeah, I agree.
I think the lyrics could have been a little bit sharper. There's no, and then Marge becomes a robot.
Right, because they're going to do that episode probably this season.
But it was a little lackluster, but it was fun. I liked the Mo eggs. What else did I like? I liked...
Yeah, at least Sideshow Bob swimming. I didn't write down what the visuals were, but I did like the visuals.
My autocorrect said, it's not as good as You'll Never Stop the Restaurants.
You will never stop the restaurants. That's true.
Well, unless there's the fast food wars in which Taco Bell will win.
That's true. We all saw Demolition Man. The very, very end, I did like it had a list of shows that The Simpsons is outlast. Like it lead in. The Simpsons would be a lead in to whatever shows it listed, like Drexel's Class, Herman's
All
Head,
the shows that
Babes.
Simpsons has conquered in 600
Exactly,
episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alan Gregory, I remember, was up there. The Critic was up there.
But Sit Down, Shut Up was up there.
Sit Down, Shut Up was
That's
up there.
a great show.
Good show. I think we've said it before.
Download it on iTunes. It was the Mitch Hurwitz follow-up. I think it was before Running Wild, after Arrested Development. That's a really, really funny show.
Yeah, it was panned.
And
I
it
don't know why.
doesn't even have cult status. It just kind of got ignored by everybody, and it's really good.
Yeah, I agree. And that's kind of it for this episode.
Yeah.
We got anything else?
Nope.
Who's Rachel? And tell me it's not a computer acronym like repeating algorithm for calculating hotel. Come on, Lou, help me out here.
No. You got yourself into that acronym. You can get yourself out.
Lou stands for lousy, obstinate. Help me out here, Lou.
All right, it's getting late here in Wii Studios, so we're going to rank this episode.
We're going to rank the restaurants. Putting McDonald's first because they've got healthy chicken.
No, they don't.
What that commercial during The Simpsons said 6 nuggets for $1. It's
Oh, my God. Are you guys
healthy,
liking this?
healthy white breast meat.
We're back up to a lot of viewers here.
Right, 88, just like our number of episodes.
That's right. Well, now we're at 89. And now we're at 86. I don't like that. All right, let's rank this
86, the
episode.
year the Mets, the year they won all the way.
The Mets, the miracle of 86. I remember it well like it was yesterday. I feel like he had a different voice to begin with, and now he's turned into your dad. Anyway,
Who's he?
John Johnson,
God.
that famous Mets fan.
If Krogstein's not going to be a character, we're not doing John Johnson.
He should be a character, Jack.
Sounds too much like Don Johnson.
All right, let's rank the episode. You got to get in the thing, the rankings. So we're going to take a quick little break here to get this crap set up.
I mean, I just have to click my bookmark. I
know, but
bookmarked it.
I also bookmark it,
All
but this will get cut out when we actually release this as a podcast.
Will it?
I assume so.
I'm there. I'm already
Some
here.
of this
I don't
can
know
be
what
cut.
you're waiting for.
All right. Here we go.
Wait.
God damn you, Jack.
Okay.
All right, guys. So, Treehouse of Horror 27 from season 28. We're going to rank it on the Hippo scale.
What's the Hippo scale for all these new listeners
Oh my God,
who
Jack.
don't know what we are and we're just gay nerds to them?
I'm so glad that you asked. The Hippo scale, we're ranking this episode on its humor, its integrity, its production values, and its originality. On a 0 to 5 scale, humor and integrity being ranked a little bit higher. A little weighted.
Because it's more important to the
much more
Simpsons ethos.
So, Jack, we're going to put 2 minutes on the clock.
Oh, yeah. The beep, boop, beep, boop, beep,
There
boop,
it
beep.
is. The humor of this episode, what do you got, 0 to 5?
All right, so I would say I was trying to remember the 4 previous Halloween episodes we've done. Besides the Halloween episode that's not a Treehouse of Horror, we've done 2 Mayoweens and 2 in October.
Yeah.
I remember there was one I think we might have kind of liked, like this one. The other 3 we were really disappointed in. This might be my least favorite, my least worst Treehouse of Horror.
I think
my
I
most favorite.
think I agree with you on that one. I think that this one was the funniest. It wasn't amazing, but I laughed a lot.
Did I laugh a lot?
I'm kind of thinking like 3.5.
Oh no!
You think that's too high?
Yeah, 3.5 is a pretty funny episode.
I think this episode was pretty funny.
Name 5 things you liked.
Everything Wiggum said in the second bit.
That's worth a 3.5.
All right, I'll go with a 3 then.
2.
Maybe 3.5 is a little high.
I'm gonna go 2.
All right.
Which I think is a good score.
2 is not a good score. It's below average.
It's a oh yeah. No,
average is
2.5 would be C, right?
2 point. Well,
Yeah,
sort of, but not
2.5
really.
is a C.
2.5 is average.
Yeah, which is a C. C is average.
C is not average.
What is this? You talking you two to me?
C is not
Is this we two talking you two to me to you two?
I forgot that they had
on
that
Periscope?
bit on you talking you to me.
Do I have to cue our we talking you to me to you two
Can you
theme song?
Can you hand me the cable?
Well, we're not.
I
We're,
know,
we're
I
not.
know.
We're not actually them. We don't
We're
just
not?
do them.
I'm
We
not
don't just
Scott.
do
I thought
their
you were Adam
bits.
Scott.
We don't just do
kinda
the bits.
We kind of do just do their bits. All right. So I'm going 3. You're going 2. That's fine.
I might go 2.5. I guess it was. No, it wasn't average. What are you convincing me it was average? We're just so used to shitty episodes.
I think it was average.
We're just so used to shitty episodes. We're like, oh, this wasn't horrible. That's like somebody going, by the way, you have cancer.
I didn't hate
we only
this
have to take
episode.
one breast. It's like, oh, okay.
No, I need my
oh, that's
breasts.
great. Oh, you're only taking one breast, 3.5.
Was they taking Grufix breasts?
That's where I keep the secrets. Edward Snowden stored his secrets in my breast.
There
The
you go.
government took them.
No one thought
it
to
was
look
a forced vasectomy.
Amazing. All right, guys. The integrity of this episode, Jack, 0 to 5. What do you think there?
They blew it. They blew it because.
You think they blew it?
Yeah, because it was all narrative. It was all parody. There was nothing rooted in why is Lisa care. How is Lisa Katniss in this situation?
Yeah.
Why is Lisa dueling with her imaginary friend?
But is
why is Bart being bullied by bullies and then becomes a super agent and now he has this empowerment? Where is that? There was nothing. There was none of that.
Is that integrity or is that
That's character.
is
Yeah.
that originality?
No, that's story structure. That's narrative. That's what they kind of did right.
I don't know. I mean, yeah, I guess it wasn't too strong on integrity, but I don't think it was terrible.
I was never emotionally moved like in the way I would be
I was when
emotionally
that cat died.
moved in, say, The Raven or the
That's true. Yeah, I don't. Well, what are you thinking? Give me some context here. What? It sounds like you're pretty low.
1.
Really? I can't go that low. I'm gonna go 2.
Okay, you're giving it a C-.
I am giving it a C-. I think that's fair.
I could go 2.
All right,
I could go 1.5 rather.
Production values. This I think would probably be the highest.
Yeah,
because this episode looked really good. It was well animated.
There was that really well directed joke with Ralph Wiggum.
Yeah, couch. The Planet of the Couches was good. That was well done.
600 montage was done really well.
Yep.
Again, the integrity was lacking. Grimes didn't really pull his weight in the terms of the joke, but the physically it looked great. 3.5.
I think I'm right there with you. I'm gonna go 3.5 also. And finally, we got the originality of the episode. Now, it is a Halloween episode that's mostly parodies.
That's a 0.5 off at best.
Okay.
The parodies are fun.
Sure, parodies are fun.
But
so what are you thinking?
Let's see.
We had a lot of issues. Obviously, we just spent an hour and a half pointing them out.
The Mad Max stuff shoehorned in at the end.
Up.
This is where I would give takeoff points for Homer taking over from Lisa. There's
very good point.
2.
2. It seems low. I'm gonna give it a 2.5 because
Gonna give it a C.
I am. I didn't hate this episode, and I want my
Neither did I, but that doesn't mean
it seems like
it was
you kind
average.
of did. You're going below average.
So if I was to say, what's an average episode of The Simpsons? You would say this was an average episode of The Simpsons?
Yeah, I would.
Because there's 400 worse episodes.
There's 299 better and 300 worse.
All right, I could kind of get behind that. In that you're grading on a curve that at this point the curve is such terrible. Yeah,
exactly. The average has been stretched out.
All right, I'll boost up some of my score a bit because my numerically I'm pretty low on this because I don't want to overhype it. But it was the least worst Treehouse of Horror we've gone by. But that's not saying much.
It was a fine episode.
I wouldn't. If I never saw this episode again, I wouldn't cry.
No, I wouldn't either. But
to me,
I might cry.
To me, that would be, anything below a B-. I would say I would be disappointed if I never saw again.
All right, guys, we have crunched our numbers, and Treehouse of Horror 27 has ranked as a slightly better episode than Today I Am a Clown, and a slightly worse episode than Bart Mangled Banner. Boy, Bart Mangled Banner has just become this weird...
shot up the list. What did you add?
This weird, middle episode. That makes it episode ranked number 56 on our current list. So that's on the higher end.
Yeah,
out of 88.
That's fine.
It's
sure.
not terrible.
I would put this in top third, I guess. Lower top third.
I guess. I don't know. But it's worth noting that Treehouse of Horror 25 actually ranks higher than this one by a lot. I
don't remember which one. Is that with the farting?
Maybe? I don't really remember.
Is that the one with the That's the one with the season 1. They meet up with the season 1.
Oh,
butts.
they meet up with the Butts family.
Yeah, I'd say
I think it was.
This
You're
one.
right.
Yeah, they're right about the same.
I don't know, guys, but it doesn't matter because that's the end of this episode. So thank you so much for joining us on Periscope, if you actually did join us on Periscope. And thanks for listening. If you have a Terrible Simpsons episode that you'd like to submit, you can do that on our website. Jack, what's that website?
That is weepodcast.com. That's WEE podcast.com.
Absolutely. And you can go there, weepodcast.com. You can get to our Twitter, our Facebook page, our Reddit page, our YouTube page, our Kronk Pronkstein page. Does he have a page yet?
It's Craigslist.com. It's where you get all your sublets.
That's amazing. All of our voices are starting to sound the same.
Well, the Islanders are going to go all the way this year.
Oh,
going to get the Stanley Cup.
You like the Mets too, I bet.
Yeah, but
they're both red, orange, and blue.
Oh, just like the Knicks.
Oh, I love the Knicks. My name is Jim Jimson.
The Knicks are going to go all the way this year.
Somehow adding that dance made it so much better.
Isn't this my I didn't like the care for the joke dance?
I'm so tired. I want to go home. All right, guys. We plugged the website. If you want to help us out, you can go to Amazon.we.
Got a pimple on my elbow. It's literally just from typing on a keyboard all day. My office job.
If you guys want to help us out and support what we're doing here, all you got to do is go to amazon.wepodcast.com. That'll take you to amazon.com, but you'll go through our links, and you will help support us, and we'll get a little bit of money from whatever you buy.
Yeah, so if you're buying stuff anyway for Christmas shopping or Halloween candy, Just like old Dracula Fingers.
Absolutely.
Buying candy with his fingers.
I buy candy filled with blood. Gushers with blood.
That would be his favorite
That
candy.
would be his favorite candy.
I like to eat regular Gushers.
Because he's a dumb vampire.
I don't
and he
know
doesn't
any better. Did you like me in Revenant? I went inside the horse because I didn't think to drink it.
If you don't want to spend any money but you want to support us anyway, all you got to do is go to iTunes, give us a 5-star rating, or do whatever you want. If you want to give us a lower rating, you can. But
No,
really,
don't do that.
Okay, they can't. You can. So don't do that. And if you're in the New York area, Brooklyn area, you want to come to Woo Classic Simpsons Trivia, we are changing locations, actually. This is my first podcast announcement of this. We are not going to be where we were before. So Google Woohoo Classic Simpsons Trivia and find more information about that. We are looking for a new permanent home in Brooklyn, so we will, when we find that, I will let you guys know where that is. But next week, Jack, not next week, but in 2 weeks, next episode, we're going to come back. We're going to do another one.
Weed every day.
That's what we're going to do.
Like
420, bro.
Like the song next episode.
Oh, yeah. Hold up. That's from the actual song. But anyway, we're going to do an episode. It's going to be called...
Does that count as a silly voice so that somebody's keeping tally?
I don't know. I don't know anymore.
Your black rapper voice? Does that count?
No, because I will never do that again. Next time on Worst Episode Ever, we are going to do an episode from season 17 called Homer Simpson, This Is Your Wife.
Oh, I thought you were going to say...
Is Your Wife.
Life.
So we're going to watch that one next week. And so, yeah, that's it. I don't remember how we end the show. We usually do it with some kind of cut all this, but I think we're out of those, right?
We do have one more, but we'll save it for...
We'll save it for another time.
when we're not periscoping.
So how should we finish this episode then?
Somebody said they wanted to just us rail off a bunch of bus stop voices since they sat through this hour and a half of shit. You want to give them a little bus stop love? You know who we haven't heard in a little while? That young man right there, Mr. Dan Hadalik. Here, I'll grab all the bus stop characters and you write them off. Unless I don't think any of them are actually mine.
All right, let's do it. Let's go.
Tell me what this diorama
This is going to be tough. Jack is getting our diorama from that someone at Woohoo Classic Trivia made for Diorama Rama this past March. Let's see if I can actually do this.
Okay, there's also Groofic is stuck to the box, so I'll do a quick.
Okay, do a quick Groofic.
Vote Trump. He's the only one that breaks the rules. He doesn't take money from candidates. He gives it to them.
There you go.
Okay, and we have Draculo. I guess I'll also.
There you go.
DiCaprio's dead, but we can do Draculo.
That's right.
Trick or treat, everybody! Don't poison any apples.
That's right.
Here we've got the
Bit of a huge stretch,
huge
I
stretch,
believe.
yeah.
Happy Halloween, everyone.
And we've got. I guess I should show you guys.
Yeah, you should.
Yeah, there's the
That was Hugh
Dracula,
Stretch.
Hugh Stretch. We've got season 1 Homer. This is his butt.
We'll give out frosty chocolate milkshakes.
Actually, he's
for
double-sided, so he has
Halloween.
no butt.
We actually got a request for Sideshow Mel, so let's
Do Sideshow Mel Happy Halloween or All Saints Eve.
Who else we got?
We've got Sideshow Mel. we got Sideshow Mel. So here I am. I disagree with Groovic. Vote Hillary. Hashtag I'm with her. We've got Dan Hadalik here. Or is this Jerry Van Dalek? Is this mine or yours? Let's just say it's yours. It's Dan Hadalik.
I have not been on the show in a great long time. I
Actually
really
does
wish
have Dan Hadal's face on it.
I wish I had been a larger part of the show, but I have been phased out in favor of other more popular characters who don't shriek.
I wouldn't say popular. And last, but certainly least, we have Hemus.
Hey everybody, happy Halloween! I'm here to say Hemusween. That's what we call it around the Hemus homestead.
We did Freed. Somebody wants a quick tweaking the twist. I'm tweaking the twist. And let's wrap it off with a cut all this from obviously a Halloween favorite, Little Ghost Girl.
Okay. Everybody, I want you all to be safe this Halloween. When you go out trick-or-treating...
Just say cut all this.
When you go out trick-or-treating, be careful that there's no poison.
No, just cut all this and we can Call it a
I
night.
have a list of 75 things I need to get off my chest.
What are you, Martin Luther?
Yes.
This is your 75 theses?
I have a number of theses. The Catholic Church is not doing things the way they should. Anyway, cut all this. Happy Halloween, though.
$600. Yes, that's right. We've churned out 600 shows. It goes and goes. 2 times 300. And thousands of promos for shows that